The face of another, the face of another. Unbeknownst to me, this actually isn't a rip-off of Eyes Without a Face. It's something entirely different altogether, basically. Yeah. Hello there, CriterioNate here. Number 392C, Part 3 in the 3 films by Hiroshi Teshigahara set. Number 395, Hiroshi Teshigahara's The Face of Another. 1966, 141 minutes, black and white, and all Japanese. So yeah, this actually, I just kept looking at this and thinking, it's Eyes Without a Face. It's Eyes Without a Face, just in Japanese. But no, it's something entirely different, basically, altogether, sort of, kind of. This is definitely, I mean, I've had weird vibes come from Teshigahara, but this, without a doubt, is probably the weirdest of his films. Pitfall was weird, and Woman in the Dunes had weird moments. But Face of Another, just like, whoa, freaky deaky. So basically, this is the story. Okiyama, this is the main character's name, played by Tatsuya Nakadai, and he is this man whose face was burned off in some like chemical accident, and so he goes to visit this doctor who, bandages him up, and he lives with with a mask, and he gets this apartment. He gets an apartment, and he runs into the superintendent's daughter, who keeps stealing his yo-yo or something, and so she meets up with him, and she's really a little touched, and so he gets an apartment there, and I guess he lies and says that he has a wife somewhere. Actually that part was a little confusing to me, but anyway, so eventually the doctor comes up with this solution where they create a mask for his face. They create like some kind of like, they chisel out, features and all that, and so he ends up wearing this mask that attaches on. They give him some facial hair, and so they basically recreate his face, with someone else's. They take someone else's face and put it on his skin, and so at first he's very, it kind of changes his mood, his personality a little bit. He becomes very irritable, so he ends up so that's basically the whole movie. And then he ends up getting an apartment in the same building. And the superintendent's girl thinks it's the same person, but so I don't know. It's sort of a bit of a mix-up. So anyway, he ends up meeting this woman, and he tells her about his wife, and he ends up sleeping together. But I guess she kind of knows that he has a fake mask on, because she compares his mask to the makeup she wears, and so. Yeah, it's a really kind of confusing movie, but it's also very creepy, very, very intriguing. Definitely a lot more special effects than Pitfall or Woman in the Dunes. A lot of weird imagery, a lot of weird dialogue. There's also another subplot that I totally forgot about. There's another plot like happening at the same time. Unlike Sweet movie, with this woman who has part of her face was burned, and it's not really explained what happened. However, apparently because she works in a rest home for World War II veterans who have like PTSD and things like that, and she lives with her brother. And she's very worried about the fact that there could be another, she's worried that there could be another war. And so I guess you're supposed to interpret that, she actually got her face burned off in some kind of, nuclear accident, nuclear bomb or something, back in the 40s. And so, so basically she tries to live her life, and she's very pretty on one side, but, but when people see the other side, they totally just flinch, and kids call her ugly and a freak, and her brother doesn't seem to care very much, to the point where the end of her subplot, not the end of the movie, but like her subplot ends like about a half hour before the end of the movie. She ends up walking off into the ocean, like I guess killing herself and walking off into the ocean because she doesn't feel like living a life, and her brother cries, and yeah, it's a little trippy. But anyway, the movie ends. The endings. I mean, I've already spoiled plenty, but in the end, Okuyama ends up trying to like molest this girl, rape this girl, and he's arrested. And the doctor takes him back, under the guise that he's a psychiatric patient who escaped. And so the final scene like has this really trippy sequence where the doctor and Okuyama are walking, and all these people are walking in the opposite direction, and they all have masks on. They all have masks that totally like obliterate their face, And they're walking, and so, and a big discussion is the idea of freedom, how like the mask gives you freedom and all that. And so the end is just one of the weirdest endings where Okuyama thanks the doctor for the mask, and then he leans in, like he shakes his hand, and then he leans in, and the doctor drops dead as Okuyama stabbed him. And then just it ends with Okuyama just feeling his face, and it freezes, and that's the end of the movie. So yeah, Teshigahara, weird guy. What weird movies we saw this last few days. I honestly don't know. I wish there was more. I do wish there was more. There's a little bit more. There's I forget which one. There's one more, I think. I can't remember. God, I already discussed it, but I can't remember what it is now. Yeah, so this is definitely just a very creepy, weird, kind of trippy movie. I mean, it was 1966. The further you got into the 70s, more psychedelic ideas were coming into, like, films and directors' minds and things like that. So I blame the period. The time period that it was, a lot of directors were doing more radical things, as I've mentioned before. So I'm not surprised to see, the trippy, special effects and the prosthetics and things like that. So it doesn't shock me, or it's just a question of how it's used, when it's used, how it's used, that kind of thing. So yeah, Face of Another. What do I give this? I'm gonna give it an A-. It's a good movie, but it just seems like there's something amiss, especially with the subplot with the girl. That just didn't seem to make as much sense to me as it did the main plot with Okuyama. And yeah, again, it's really, really trippy. I thought, it kept me going, and I was like, I want to know, I knew something wrong was going to happen, and it seemed like, Okuyama, definitely the mask kind of took over Okuyama at one point, and that was really amazing to watch. So yeah, outside of that, I don't have anything else to say. Face of Another, yeah, A-. Good stuff. I would love to, I'd recommend you pick it up, but again, I think this is, I'm pretty sure, I think I mentioned the whole set's out of print, sadly, with the exception of Woman in the Dunes, which was just recently put back into the Criterion collection. So yeah, but if you can find the set with the 3-film set, I'd pick it up, especially if you're into weird Japanese movies, But if you're not, if you're into weird Japanese movies, but you're not into gore the way you would be if you're watching Jikoku or something like that, if that's your kind of movie, then this is a cakewalk, basically. But if you're into the creepiness you don't want to get too creepy, something like The Face of Another, Pitfall, Woman in the Dunes, right up your alley. And that's what Teshigahara was, ended up being, this guy who just kind of pushed the envelope when it came to movies and what you could show on the screen, you know. So anyway, that's all I got for this one. Basically another A-. Supplements, again, just like before, there's a video essay by that James guy and the trailer. And then the supplements. Now let's talk the supplements. Now, again, I mentioned before, the supplements that were featured in this set, in the 3-film set, were re-released on the Woman in the Dunes 2016 reissue. So if you if you're into seeing more of Teshigahara's short films, just pick up the 2016 Woman in the Dunes set, and you're basically set. So, so the first thing is there's a documentary called Teshigahara and Abe, and then which features, because it's Kobo Abe, who is the novelist who I guess was based, the Pitfall, The Face of Another, and Woman in the Dunes all were based on his work. So, and like he kind of like worked with Teshigahara on these films too. So it might not just be Teshigahara, it might be Abe as well. So there it is. And so yeah, there's a lot of people talking. Richard Pena, Tado Sako, Arata Isozaki, John Nathan, Noriko Nomura, and Donald Ritchie. God, I'm sorry. I think I've spoken out. I can't stand Donald Ritchie. He just rubs me the wrong way. Yeah. Anyway, so if you want to find out about their relationship and how the films were made, check out that documentary. The other four short films are ones that Teshigahara did earlier, way earlier to the 3 films we saw. Let's see. There's one called Hokusai, which was done in 1953, and it's basically about showcasing this woodcutter's work, Hosukai's wood cuttings. Ikebana, which is from 1956, and that one features sculptures, and yeah, it was kind of hard to grasp the concepts of those, but yeah, it was just about sculptures. Tokyo 1958, which was in 1958, which was basically one of the weirder ones. It's this weird collaborative film that he worked with all these other different short directors, and they made this really weird, like 24-minute film about Tokyo in different languages. It was mostly Japanese and English. There's some weird special effects with figures leaving paintings and samurai faces superimposed on human faces and all that. And yeah, it's a really, really surreal kind of out there kind of film. But maybe not as surreal as Ako, which was done in 1965. And this one fits right in there with the other ones. This is probably the weirdest. I don't understand what was going on. Basically, it was about some girl this young woman who goes out with her friends and spends all night with them, and like there's weird sound effects that like cut out the audio at times, and it's just weird. And I almost want to pick up Woman in the Dunes just to get Ako again, because it was just so surreal and out there that I kind of want to see it again. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, wow, this is, it wasn't like, oh my God, I really need this in my life. But at the same time, it was like, I kind of want to see this again. I kind of do, So anyway. Yeah, and that's it. Face of Another, A-. Supplements are pretty trippy. And yeah, so anyway, outside of that, I give the whole set basically, I give it I give it an A-. Pitfall, I think I gave a B+, because the plot was really lost me at times. Woman in the Dunes was great, give it an A. Face of Another, A-, and yeah, that's so, like, I average it out to about an A-, the set. If you can find it, I'd pick it up. It's out of print, again, except for Woman in the Dunes, so if you just like Woman in the Dunes, you're in luck. If you like Pitfall or Face of Another, happy hunting. In fact, you know what? I'm going to spend a little time here. I'm curious now, because I know it's out of print. I'm pretty sure it's out of print. So I've heard. I'm on a couple of Facebook Criterion Collection Facebook groups, And they keep saying, oh yeah, it's out of print, but I was not aware that it actually was out of print. It didn't seem that way from Criterion's website, although I'm going to check Criterion's website too. Let's see. So yeah, so that's it for today. Next we've got the Raymond Bernard set. The Eclipse is going to come in later this week and do the Raymond Bernard set, Wooden Crosses. Probably Wednesday will be Wooden Crosses. Thursday will be Les Miserables, and then we're going to take the break, and then I'm going to be back Tuesday to do. Actually, you know what? There is a slight possibility that I might be doing one Les Enfants Terribles be on Tuesday, actually, with Megan. There's a chance. I'm not sure. Depends on our schedules. Depends on whether or not I can get the movie that early. There's a chance I might be able to get it from one of my local libraries, but I can head down there and pick it up in person. So if I can, we might do that one on Tuesday, and then next Tuesday I'll be back with probably the last 4. Ace in the Hole. We've got 5 more technically. Ace in the Hole, Ivan's Childhood, Les Enfants Terribles, House of Games, and Stranger Than Paradise, and then that's number 400. But we also have and then we'll have one more set from the Eclipser, the Samuel Fuller trilogy, and so those will be coming. All right, so I'm looking now. It looks like so 3 films by Hiroshi Teshigahara, $172. Wow, that's $172. Okay, that's So all right, so that is out of print. That is out of print. So if you're into this, if you're into the other films, good luck, guys. Save up your pennies, or get on eBay and check it out. So anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Facebook another. Don't let the masks take you over. Somebody stop me and all that stuff. And and Teshigahara, if you like weird stuff, check out Teshigahara's films. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and we might see you on Tuesday for Les Enfants Terribles, but we will definitely see you. Well, the Eclipser will see you on Wednesday for Wooden Crosses. And until then, goodbye.